Almost everybody has their favorite pair of jeans that they just can't bear to part with. Jeans come in so many sizes, all the way from infants all the way up to elderly. You can find jeans for any kind of style or purpose or any kind of fashion to fit any season that you can think of. Jeans originally, the denim for jeans was made in a town called Denim in France, which is where denim gets its name, denim. It was originally made out of a wool-silk twill blend, but eventually switched over to cotton, which is much more comfortable and gets a little more comfy after time, too. Jeans get their blue color from indigo dye, and all other different colors of jeans are made from sulfur dye. We've all heard of Levi Strauss. During the gold rush, Levi Strauss lived in California and made jeans for the workers who lived there and needed some sturdy clothing. They were first called waist overalls, and Levi Strauss really made them into the modern jean when he and a tailor collaborated together and got a patent for jeans with the rivets on the button. They were meant to be worn over clothes, which is why they were called waist overalls. They went over the clothes. So jeans were really, they're born out of necessity as to be worn during work. They were used outside on the farm. People wore them working in the factories because they were so durable, and the jeans material is so thick that they can really withstand a lot of abuse. Even the Navy started using them in 1901 as a way to keep the sailors' dress whites separate, so they had their dress uniforms and their work uniforms. Even prisons adopted jeans as part of their uniform as well. During World War II, a lot of clothes and supplies were severely rationed and all directed towards the war effort, so a lot of people wore jeans all the time simply because they didn't have much else to wear. Even women wore the jeans, even though it was still socially unacceptable for women to wear pants. During the 1950s, James Dean really switched up the way people wore jeans. In the 1950s, he came out with a couple of movies, Rebel Without a Cause and Giant, where he portrayed a rebellious teenager wearing jeans. This sparked the imagination of a lot of teenage boys who likewise started wearing jeans to be more like James Dean. And this was facilitated by the fact that jeans in the 1950s became sold nationally, so they were readily available for the teenage boys to buy them. By the 1960s, jeans were more socially accepted as casual wear. It was now okay for women to wear pants as well as jeans. They actually were called jeans and lost the kind of old-fashioned name of waist overalls, and they were sold pre-shrunk. They really became to be seen as an item that defined the country of America and were much coveted by people overseas. After the 60s, when they were seen as more of a everyday, fashionable piece of clothing, it really kind of opened up the door for diversity in the way they looked at the styles of jeans. They had different cuts of jeans available with hip huggers and bell bottoms. People began to embellish their jeans. In the 80s, they became high fashion and very expensive. And they even came out with things like acid wash in the 80s. And like I said, people embellished them, put their own little personalization on them. And this was further seen in the 80s and 90s when jeans were actually tailored for different cultural musical styles, such as grunge and hip-hop had the jeans with holes in them and baggy jeans. So there was a really different wide amount of styles. Fun fact about jeans that I found out about while doing all this research was you can buy a brand new pair of jeans from a company called APO for $4,000. Why so much money? Well, they come with diamonds on the buttons and the rivets, which is pretty fantastic. They come with a certificate of authority and appraisal sheet by Diamond District Jewelry from New York City. So it's pretty crazy. What do you do after your jeans are no longer wearable in public once they become so worn and frayed. Because Americans have such an obsession with their jeans, it's often hard for people to get rid of their jeans, especially ones they've loved and worn so much. So what can you do with them? Well, there's a couple of different things. If you're really crafty, you can turn your jeans into mini skirts, purses, wine bags, quilts, you name it. There's something out there that you can do with them. You can also have somebody else do the work for you. You can donate them, mail them to a company which will turn them into recycled, use the cotton to recycle them and turn them into home insulation, which is pretty cool. It takes about 500 pairs of jeans to insulate the average American home. So jeans are an all-American thing. They're loved by so many people, and there are as many jeans as there are a diverse number of people in the United States. So just about one thing people can all agree on in this country is their favorite, their jeans. They can all have a favorite kind of jeans. And the best part is that there are jeans still being made right here in the United States, several different kinds, that are manufactured from denim, also made right here in the United States. So it's a great way to support the country and keep up this American tradition and iconography of jeans wearing.